Okay, so now that we've got our Cloudflare in there for our animations, and we have our style sheet link in there so that we can do our custom styles, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and code in some custom CSS. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our font in there. So we want to import our font, and as you can see right here, I just went ahead and copy pasted that from my style sheet. Now we're going to go ahead and give the HTML some styling. We're going to give it a height of, let's go with 100%. And let's give it a width of 100%. I think that'll be good for the HTML. We're not going to do much with that. Now because this is a class, we have to use a period in front. So we're going to do our hidden menu. Again, make sure that every time that you do these things, you are paying attention to your spelling, because again, it's going to cause headaches if you don't. So now we want to do a display of none here, because if you don't, your menu will always be there and it's not going to look right. So now let's go down and do a media query. And we'll do our min width, 768 pixels. And we're just defining our viewports and our breakpoints, and so that we can do some custom styles at certain viewpoint widths. So we're going to hidden menu. And let's see, we give it a display of flex. And whoops, I'm sorry about that. Let me do this as a important, because I don't want any inline styles to get in my way. Okay, now let's get into the Navbar. Let's style that up, because as you can see from the video previously, that my Navbar didn't look the way in which that it should. So we're going to go ahead and use some of our classes. And we have a Navbar 3D in there. And let's see, we'll give it a box shadow. And how do we want that to be? Let's go with a 0. Then we'll do 4 pixels. 6. Let's give it an RGBA. And let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's go with a 0, 0, 0. And let's give it a 0.2 opacity. Let's do that. No, you know what? Let's go with a 1. And you'll see these things. I just like to put the spacing in there. Make it look a little bit neater. Let's go with 10 pixels and then 15 pixels. And we'll do a RGBA of and let's do this one at a 0.05. I'm going to be very slight. Okay. Let's give it a border bottom of, what do we want that to look like? Let's go with 2 pixels. And let's do that solid. And then let's do an RGBA of, let's go with a 0, 0, 0, and boy, what do we want to make that? Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's do this one a bit different. Let's go with a 255, and then another 255, and another 255, and we'll give that an opacity of 0.2. And let's not forget our colon. And now let's go to our border top. What are we going to do with that? Border top, let's go with a 2 pixel. Let's go with solid. Solid, and we'll do an RGBA of, let's do another 0, 0, 0. And let's give that the 0.2. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And let's do, actually, you know what, before that, let's do a transition. Transition, and we're going to make that background of 0.3 seconds, and we'll put a box shadow on that. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see, box shadow of, let's see, 0.3 seconds. And I think, honestly, let me get up here because I just want to split this up a little bit. I'm going to do a background. I'm going to do a linear gradient. And we're going to do that at 145 degrees. And that color is going to be a hashtag of, let's go with, yeah, and then we'll do a hash color of 1C, 1C, 1C. Yeah. I think that'll be good. Okay. Now, let's get into the transparency of it. And we're going to do its class. Let's go. We'll go Navbar transparent. And here we go with that. Let's give it a background. We'll give it an RGBA of, let's go to 5.9, 5.9, and how about another 5.9? And then what do we want to do? Let's give it an opacity of 0.5. So 0.5. Okay. All right, and let's go with the back shadow. Let's go with our box shadow now of none. Okay. Now, let's get into our text. Let's get a little style on that 3D text so we can make that really stand out. Let's see, we'll give it, let's see, we're going to do the text 3D. Start with that. And what do we want to do with that? Let's give it a text shadow. That's how you make it look more like it's 3D. And we're going to do a 1 pixel by 1 pixel by 2 pixels. And we're going to give that an RGBA of, I don't know. Let's go 0, 0, 0. And let's give that, let's give that 0.4 opacity on that one there. And I think for now, that one's going to be good. So now we're going to get into, let's go to our custom height. And this is just going to help us make this particular portion of our page stand out a little bit more. So we're going to give that a height of, let's do 5.5 REM. And do we want to do anything else with that? No, not for now. Now let's go with our logo 3D. Logo dash 3D. Okay. And now these are all the things that we put in classes in our HTML. So if you're wondering, where is this coming from? Where are these words coming from, and then with the stylings underneath them? They're coming from direct from our HTML that we have our inline styling. But what I'm doing is I'm taking and I'm making them a more customized version. So let's continue to do that. I just wanted to take a second to explain that. Let's give this a box shadow. And we are going to make that box shadow, how about 0 pixels, 4 pixels. Let's go with 6 pixels. And then let's give it an RGBA of, let's go 0, 0, 0, and what do we want to do here? Let's give that a 0.5 opacity there, okay? And do we want to do anything else with that? Box shadow? Yeah, let's do some more. Let's give it transform and translate. And let's do the z-index, and we will do a 0. Okay, and then what do we want to do? Let's do a transition and transform. And let's take and let's do that 0.3 milliseconds, and we'll do a ease in out. Okay. And now let's go down. I don't think we really want to do anything else here. So let's go down to our next style, which is going to be a hover effect. So let's get that going. Logo dash 3D. And because we're going to make that a hover. Okay. Let's do a transform. Boy, how do we want to do this? Let's do the scale at 1.05. Whoops, I'm sorry. Oh boy, did I mess that all up. It happens sometimes. Oh, need a colon here. Okay. Do we want to do anything else for that? No, we do not. Now let's style our small logo. So here we go. Let's do logo small. And what do we want to do with our small logo? Well, we obviously have to manipulate the height. And we want to make this an important because it's going to override some of our other stylings. So, and we'll do 65 pixels, and let's make that important so that we're sure to get that change. And then I think we're just gonna do, let's do our hidden class. Man, I am having all kinds of issues here. Okay, for our hidden class, we just want to make the display none. And that's going to hide that menu that you have across the Navbar. So it'll just become the hamburger menu that you typically see on mobile screens. And that's the effect that we're looking for here. So that's why we're doing a hidden display of none here. That's why we also are styling the logo small, because we want it to be responsive with whatever screen it is that you're on. So this is the basic stylings of our Navbar. Let's go ahead and see how that looks. Okay, that's honestly not too awful bad. I mean, I can make it stand out a little bit more by changing the background color and things like that. So here's what you have so far. You know, obviously these need to be moved over to this side. Here's where your company logo is going to be installed. You have these three in the area that they need to be, but we want to center these in the nav bar, and we want these to be on this side, centered in the nav bar, right? So everything is nice and linear. That's the effect that we're going for. But you can see the difference from the last couple of videos where we're getting to. Okay? I think that's going to do it for this particular video at this time. And we'll go ahead and make another one where we move the contact, the frequently asked questions, the login to the right side of the nav bar as you look at the viewport.